what do you call this? The Spotify deal with Mr. Joe Rogan here, whether it was worth it partnership between the two here, and according to BusinessInsider.com, you can see that paying $100 million for a podcast brand may seem a lot of money, but based on the earnings or the followers that it have garnered, obviously it boosted Spotify's presence in the streaming services as mentioned, or in the music stream as well. And Joe Rogan Experience, which accounted almost 4.5% for all podcasting listening on Spotify in 2020 of September last year. So obviously, I'm a big fan of the show, but I only got introduced from last year by watching his catalog of interviews on YouTube, which was kind of interesting, especially the long format that he's introduced here. Talking upon hours of discussion here about, depending on the guest that he has, whether it be not necessarily a movie star, but could be any person that is of interest to him, and he gets to interview those people and share their experience. I think one of the benefits of watching his show was I was introduced to the name of Mr. Jordan Peterson, which is kind of interesting. And then there were other. I think there was a Navy SEAL, former Navy SEAL, who swam, had the world record for swimming for I don't know how many days he did it. I think it's called instead of a marathon for running, but marathon for swimming here, wherein you got it out, and and he goes on to interview a lot more people than not just the big stars in Hollywood here. And what's it's interesting, it attracted a lot of global users here. So it's not just in the United States, but worldwide. Obviously, for Spotify trying to gain traction here in a very competitive environment, you have Apple offering music streams, and then people have alternatives not just to listening to music or to podcasts. You have streaming videos or even movies or TV series here. Obviously, getting a very popular show at the time in YouTube, it's a great deal for them, and it has been the number one show on their services, according to the internal document here. So let's see the date here. Where was it? There we go. Let's see. There you go. So as you can see here, that the numbers don't lie. So you can see here, JRE, or Joe Rogan Experience, has the highest number of consumption hours, behind only to, what's the other one? Parcast, which is only around 7 hours. So that's double the amount for Joe Rogan, and you can see here the consumption hours here per month is significantly higher, almost 10 hours. So there's a lot of people listening to his podcast because obviously the behavior or preferences of individuals have shifted, especially being stuck at home for most of the time and doing a lot of activities at home. You need something to keep you distracted, in a sense, like music playing behind the background while doing your normal chores here. And in this case, listening to podcast used to be when you're traveling on your car to and from work, or going other places where it normally takes hours. Then it serves the same purpose here. And obviously, a lot of people are taking advantage of their free time here, so that you can enjoy their content here. And obviously, for many followers here, even I was disappointed that they're going to remove all of their catalogs eventually, to from YouTube, going to Spotify here. That's why I haven't been watching any of his interviews lately here, which I highly appreciate. At the time that I was able to watch a lot of his interviews at the time, which got me the idea to do a sort of podcast, in a sense, like what I'm doing now. So it's all thanks to him. So it gave me idea to share what I know and what I can discuss, or what is relevant at the time, so people could always go back and listen to it, and hopefully get some sort of enjoyment or entertainment value, so to speak. And and from his background alone, it was quite interesting for him to be a host or having a podcast. The fact that he's a former UFC, still a UFC commentator, and then a comedian by profession, and then he was the host, if you're familiar with his TV show Fear Factor, which which was synonymous to him attached to it. So he has a lot of experience being a host, doing a lot of what he's doing now, which made sense, obviously, instead of changing career, but shifting to a different platform, but doing the same things, what he has been doing for several years or decades here. And good for him that he's doing really well here. Now, there has been mentioned that since moving to Spotify here, there were, I won't say issues regarding the company, regarding Spotify's, with his controversial topics that he engages, uh, depending on the person he's interviewing at the time. But at the end of the day, is it beneficial for him? Because listenership dropped initially because of the changing platform, which is understandable. But eventually, as people got used to the shift, there were mentions that guests receive after the guests receive after appearing on the show, and concluded the Rogan's influence has dwindled slightly since his Spotify exclusivity took effect. Obviously, like I'm sure there are many more cases like I have that have been used to using YouTube as the main platform, and then if someone leaves, not everyone follows him, but still, still a lot of people who do, support him and went on to, subscribe and pay the subscription fee for Spotify here, which is, still doing tremendous here compared to the other platforms. And obviously for him, to maximize his leverage of earning a substantial paycheck here, kudos for him. Question is, who will be the next up and coming Joe Rogan podcaster? That's why you're seeing a lot of people going into that realm, but none has come to take his mantle, so to speak, here. So congrats to him, and hopefully, after, I think the contract for his partnership is only for 5 years, I think, or 4 years. I'm not sure. So it would be interesting to see what he plans to do after that. Will he re-up and get another 100 million for the next 5 years, and so forth? So only time can tell.